Battle Through the Heavens God, The Flame Emperor Chapter 196, Immortal Dragon Soul. As the terrifying Lotus of Annihilation in Xiaoyan's hands went towards the Dragon Soul, facing such a terrifying flame energy, because the Dragon Soul loved flames, his scalp could not help tingling. Boom boom boom. Terrifying energy fluctuations permeated the entire space, and the strange thing was that the Lotus of Annihilation actually penetrated through the Dragon Soul. Damn it! How could this happen? Xiaoyan's pupils also shrank tightly, because when Xiaoyan controlled the Lotus of Annihilation to attack the Dragon Soul, he found that the Lotus of Annihilation actually penetrated directly through the Dragon Soul. This is unheard of. Immediately, it was too late to think. In the face of the powerful counterattack of the Dragon Soul, since the Lotus of Silence has no effect, then use the soul power to fully consume the dead Dragon Soul. Although it is incomprehensible, Xiaoyan admires the Dragon Soul very much in his heart under such terrifying power. Under the constant attack of his high-frequency soul power with all his strength, even though the Dragon Soul is very ugly, it is very uncomfortable from beginning to end. It didn't even get hurt. Its tyrannical level is really rare in the world. Actually, Xiaoyan really didn't know about this. Just imagine that the Dragon Soul is the body of the soul. It has been cultivated for thousands of years. If there is a body, its strength can already be comparable to that of a human beings who fight immortals. It's a pity that its body was destroyed by a certain great power 1,000 years ago. Even so, its strength is also extremely powerful, and in its soul realm, with Xiaoyan's continuous attacks, there is a feeling of a trace of immunity to soul attacks. So slowly, although he was attacked by Xiaoyan's soul power, it was not so easy to become afraid. The Dragon Soul was submerged in the flames, slowly absorbing the powerful flame-fighting energy from the volcanic crater below to recover some of his wounds. Looking at Xiaoyan, who was covered in milky white flames and kept descending towards the crater below, Dragon Soul laughed loudly. "Human, you are doomed. No one can survive in it. Even if it's me, I can't stay for long, or I'll be refined by the fire in the heart of the earth. Haha, you can't escape death. Haha, haha." The entire space, bursts of proud laughter, filled the surroundings, hiding everything inside. Dragon Soul laughed wildly. Even though he was severely injured, he still destroyed the enemy. How could he be unhappy? In the air, the Dragon Soul's body, which was several tens of meters long, dancing proudly. At this moment, it returned to its original state again, flying freely in the sky. Could it really be an indestructible fetish? Otherwise, how could it recover again and again? Below, in the dazzling flames, nothing could be seen clearly. Xiaoyan's body was already hidden in the flames, and no one knew whether he was dead or alive. In the secret realm, Xiaoyan hid in the sea of flames, and his whole body suddenly disappeared into the raging flames. The high temperature around is a weapon capable of destroying all living beings. Xiaoyan was in it. Even though his body was covered in milky white flames, his body was still hot and water permeated, and the water instantly became invisible. After a brief hesitation, Xiaoyan calmed down, endured the scorching heat, and the power of his soul emerged instantly, carefully examining the movements around the crater. At this time, the Dragon Soul was already laughing complacently in the sky, but Xiaoyan ignored it at all. Xiaoyan remembered that his master Dragon King once said that the cold land and the hot land are not only very dangerous places for practitioners, but also very difficult to find treasures. The speed of cultivating the exercises in such a place is far better than other places, but the crisis is very big, and there are not enough people with cultivation base, and those who are eager to make strong progress are most likely to go into trouble and fall into a place of doom. At present, Xiaoyan is in such a place, so he has been thinking about it. Xiaoyan has already understood that his cultivation has reached a saturation stage, and it is impossible to think of a great improvement and leap in a short period of time. The only way to have a chance to quickly improve one's own cultivation is to find some peculiar places, which are ingenious. At this moment, Xiaoyan decided to give it a try, so he did not go out immediately. Around Xiaoyan's body, 22 colored flames of brilliance slowly flickered, and the burning art in his body began to work. Hot flames emerged from Xiaoyan's body, converged on his body, and the flame mantra was used, causing all the flames around the crater to rapidly gather towards him in varying degrees. At this time, Xiaoyan's whole body was full of momentum, and his body absorbed the surrounding fire flames at the fastest speed, fully enriching his strength. Because the flames were too strong and dazzling, Dragon Soul didn't notice the changes around Xiaoyan at all. At this time, in its perception, Xiaoyan must have been engulfed by the fire, slowly turned into ashes, and disappeared from this world forever. The Dragon Soul floated quietly in midair, laughing smugly, feeling extremely happy. Today, I finally killed a human being to avenge the torture I suffered for so many years. While madly sucking the fire power next to him, he urged flame mantra with all his strength, and the fire power guided into the body was slowly refined along the training line of flame mantra, and quickly merged with his own doqi. Xiaoyan's double-mindedness is in order to feed his flame mantra to full capacity in a short period of time. Time passed quickly. Looking at the scorching temperature of the volcanic crater below, Dragon Soul did not dare to act rashly. At this time, he already fully believed that Xiaoyan was dead, so he planned to leave. Dragon Soul's body slowly rose, ready to return to the place where he was before, and slowly fell into a deep sleep. But at this moment, Dragon Soul suddenly felt a powerful breath coming from below, which shocked him greatly. The Dragon Soul's giant eyes flickered with disbelief. Xiaoyan couldn't feel any hot breath at this moment, because he absorbed the blazing fire below. He resonated. At this time, his whole person seemed to be an elf in the flames, and he seemed to be casual and unrestrained. Xiaoyan's body slowly rose from the flames. At this time, the flames above the ancient ruler on his left hand became more and more brilliant. At the bottom of Xiaoyan's feet, a group of flames like a red lotus pedestal slowly lifted him up, very beautiful. Xiaoyan didn't look at the Dragon Soul above his head at this time. His eyes were fixed on the ancient sword on the stone wall. Xiaoyan made a move with his right hand, and a powerful force instantly swept the sword, and suddenly a sword whistle resounded through the sky, deeply attracting Xiaoyan's heart. Xiaoyan grabbed the sword with his right hand, and suddenly felt an incomparably hot feeling in his hand. Xiaoyan smiled indifferently, and then he remembered that this sword had been roasted at high temperature for thousands of years here, so it was naturally extremely hot, but this temperature was no problem for Xiaoyan. Carefully looking at the sword in his hand, the length and size are divided, the body is flowing, and a red brilliance flows endlessly, very beautiful. The hilt and the body of the sword are one body. I don't know what material it is made of, and I can't tell what the original color is. At the handguard, a strange pattern deeply attracted Xiaoyan's eyes. The pattern is like a totem, very strange and rare, and it is impossible to recognize what it is engraved. On the other side of the hilt, there is a small dragon-like pattern, which is very... Chapter 197, Conquer the Dragon Soul? The ancient ruler of eternal fire. Xiaoyan said softly twice, and said to himself, I didn't expect this to be an immortal sword. As soon as the words fell, the immortal sword in his hand suddenly exploded in time, and instantly emitted a splendid brilliance, and disappeared in just one click. Xiaoyan was overjoyed and said with a smile, I didn't expect you to have your own consciousness. It is really a good sword. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, a huge milky white flame energy poured into the sword. Suddenly, there was a thunderous sword whistle on the sword, followed by a burst of red light, and the surrounding light suddenly became stronger. This is... When Dragon Soul heard the sword whistle, his body trembled slightly, and his heart showed a sense of trembling. Even after 1,000 years, Dragon Soul would never forget such a clamorous voice. For thousands of years, it has always been very wary of this sword and dared not approach it. It could not have imagined that Xiaoyan was not only not burned to death by the flames below, but actually got this sword. This is really an evil sect. This sword seems to be missing something. Xiaoyan also carefully sensed the immortal sword in his hand, and found that the sword was indeed somewhat mutilated. Xiaoyan is holding the ancient ruler of eternal fire on his left and right hand and the immortal sword with the dragon pattern shake. Although it is subtle, Xiaoyan still found out that the immortal sword he obtained seems to be afraid of his own ancient ruler of eternal fire. This is unheard of. The immortal sword with the dragon-patterned hilt in his hand is an immortal sword. Even if you take a step back and say, this is a sword forged by the immortal warriors. With the use of the immortal warriors, the immortal sword will inevitably have some powerful aura. Xiaoyan's body instantly left the flames below, and then appeared in front of Dragon Soul. He sneered, "Dragon soul, I'm not dead yet. Why are you so busy leaving? How good is it? And the matter between us is not over yet. I said that once you play tricks, I will not let you go easily." Xiaoyan waved the ancient ruler of eternal flame in his hand, and a raging flame suddenly burst into the sky, and a milky white ruler 100 feet suddenly erupted, rolling up the phantom body of the dragon soul. Xiaoyan sneered coldly. The huge soul power released at the same time, and instantly hit Dragon Soul's body. The Dragon Soul's body flashed red, and instantly turned into a red ball of light the size of a foot. An extremely tyrannical dragon gang was placed around it, which firmly protected himself inside. The entire ball of light was spinning at a high speed, and a red strange light emitted from the surface, which immediately reflected a lot of Xiaoyan's soul power. Xiaoyan's eyes turned cold, and he instantly appeared beside Dragon Soul. Looking at the chi-sized ball of light, Xiaoyan smiled proudly and said, "Die yourself, do you think this is enough?" The immortal sword in Xiaoyan's hand instantly flew into the sky, and then a pure white light flashed from his right hand, which was an inscription of spirit movement. Another display of the God-moving inscription firmly enveloped the ball of light in a pure white light. Immediately, two different colors, one red and one white, with different properties, fought with all their strength. The dragon soul hid in the ball of light and said loudly, "Human, you can't kill me, I'm already indestructible, you don't have to dream. When your doqi is exhausted, it will be your death. Although your mysterious attacking power is very powerful and unpredictable, you can't destroy me with that power alone. You will only be a waste of time." Xiaoyan sneered and said, "Then just look at it and see if my doqi is strong and can refine your soul." After Xiaoyan finished speaking, the huge doqi in his body increased several times, and the light of the milky white flame concealed it. The attack of God-moving inscription. The God-moving inscription exudes a pure white invisible force, directly attacking the dragon soul, and the dragon soul is like being fatally attacked. Immediately, the crimson light ball was completely swallowed up, and no redness could be seen. At this time, Xiaoyan stood quietly in the void. Milky white flames and pure white brilliance flickered between his hands, and from time to time came the sound of the dragon soul screaming and begging for mercy from time to time, but Xiaoyan was also indifferent to this. Gradually, the black brilliance gradually became smaller, and finally turned into an inch-sized red ball of light. Xiaoyan put away the God-moving inscription, quietly watching the red flowing light. "This is the original power of this dragon soul," and said softly, "I originally wanted to refine your dragon soul and make your soul fly away. Yes. But thinking that you have been trapped here for 1,000 years, and it is not easy to cultivate, it is a pity to kill. So I'll give you a chance. That senior wanted to seal you in this sword as a sword spirit. Now I will complete what they have not done, and seal you in this divine sword. I believe I will not humiliate you. Are you willing to follow my choice, or accept the result of being refined by me?" The voice of the dragon soul seemed very weak, and he said helplessly, "I hate you humans so much. I didn't expect to meet you, a young man with mysterious power. It's a shame, maybe. This is fate. Since it is destined to be impossible if you change things, I will follow your arrangement." The deep voice was full of unwillingness and loss. These things were naturally told to Xiaoyan by his master, the Golden Dragon King. This dragon soul is very afraid of spiritual power. Xiaoyan smiled indifferently. The palm of his right hand did not hit the divine sword in his left hand, but hit the ancient ruler of eternal fire on the right. According to what his master, the Golden Dragon King, said, this eternal fire eternal ruler is undoubtedly much more powerful than that immortal sword. Following Xiaoyan's slap, a red light flashed on the ancient ruler of eternal fire eternity, and the milky white flame that flowed on the ruler instantly formed a gap, and a red ball of light melted into it in a blink of an eye. The light instantly returned to its original state. Xiaoyan's right hand swept across the front of the ruler, and blood immediately appeared. The ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand burst into a dazzling brilliance. The ancient ruler automatically rose into the air, and a crimson dragon shadow suddenly shot out from the divine sword in the air, chanting, "In the air, spinning and dancing." After flying for a while, the dragon soul automatically returned to the ancient ruler. The ancient ruler of eternal fire lost its light and slowly fell into Xiaoyan's hands. Xiaoyan also took a look at this ancient ruler of eternal fire. It seemed that there was no change from the previous one. The only thing was that there was a lifelike giant dragon entrenched on the ruler's body. Xiaoyan smiled indifferently and said softly, "Dragon soul, you can stay inside with peace of mind. I use blood as a curse, and you can't break it. I think it's not easy for you to cultivate, so I don't want to destroy your consciousness, so I keep your thoughts. I hope you can do it yourself." These are naturally Xiaoyan's words. "Now I want to ask you, how can I get out of here? I believe you must know a lot about this, right?" Xiaoyan also looked around and found that there was no way out, so he asked. In the tone of the question, there was a trace of calmness, and he seemed very confident. The unwilling voice of the dragon soul came, "Even if you seal me here, you will not be able to get out. For thousands of years, I have tried countless ways, but still no success, and you are all in vain. You don't have to die here, but your source body is here. If you don't eat, you won't live long. You should wait here to die." There was a hint of hatred in his tone. "Oh, is that right?" Xiaoyan's mental power also rushed towards the ancient ruler of eternal fire. "Ah, no, stop it. I said I want to say it. The dragon soul above the ancient ruler of eternal fire." Chapter 198, Leave the Secret Realm, Special Prohibition. The dragon soul glanced at Xiaoyan, and sure enough, he retracted his attack, so he said, "You can still talk, let's go, I'll take you there. But that place is very strange, and it's hard to say exactly where it is. After all, there is no east, west, north, south, and direction in this space. It's very difficult to tell the direction. Even if I want to say it, I don't know how to say it, and you may not understand it." Xiaoyan smiled and said, "Okay, just take me there." After speaking, Xiaoyan temporarily put away the fairy sword, took the ancient ruler of eternal fire and stepped into the air, and then followed the direction pointed by the dragon soul. And go. After flying for a long time, Xiaoyan came to a strange place. When he just came to this place and felt the size of this space, Xiaoyan couldn't help but sigh. This space is so big, that senior probably spent a lot of effort to create such a space back then. Of course, the Dota powerhouse has long been able to open up a small world and a small plane. The area opened up is as large as 1/10 of your Dochi continent. The voice of his master, the Golden Dragon King, also appeared in Xiaoyan's heart. Hearing that, Xiaoyan was also overjoyed. Ever since his master, the Golden Dragon King, came to this secret realm, he has been fascinated by it, as if there is something here that attracts him, so Xiaoyan would not be able to take the initiative to disturb this, but it is good now, he the Master Dragon King took the initiative to find himself, so it should be finished. "Master, what is this dragon soul?" Xiaoyan also murmured. This dragon soul is a right-hand man, but it's just too unruly. When he surrenders to you in the future, it will be a great help." The Golden Dragon King also laughed. Hearing this, Xiaoyan is also clear that the strength of this dragon soul is extremely tyrannical. If it wasn't for the fact that his master, the Golden Dragon King, told him about his spiritual power, the nemesis of the dragon soul would not have been so easy to obtain. However, although the dragon soul refused to accept it, it has been sealed by Xiaoyan as the ruler of the ancient ruler will slowly surrender to him in the future. Xiaoyan also has this confidence. The current ancient ruler, with the dragon soul as the ruler, would not even dare to fight against the ordinary 4-star Dodi if he hit with all his strength. This was an unexpected joy that Xiaoyan did not expect. However, Xiaoyan seems to have found that his master, the Golden Dragon King, found something in this secret realm, and his soul power has actually increased significantly. "Master, your power," Xiaoyan also said. Hey, this secret realm is a good place. For thousands of years, the dragon energy of this dragon soul has also restored my strength a lot." The Golden Dragon King also laughed. "The strength has also weakened too much, and now there should be something in this secret realm that can restore the strength of his master. The so-called dragon energy is the unique breath of the dragon family used for cultivation. A little thought is also to carefully look at this place. It's a pity that none of them succeeded. Instead, it was me who came in unintentionally and took a big advantage. It's really amazing." Xiaoyan also thought to himself. "Dragon soul, there seems to be something invisible hidden here, like a ban, isolating us from this secret realm. In this entire space, except for the bright light in the crater of the flames in the center of the earth, everything else is dark. And there is also a very strange brilliance here, including blue, red, and gold, which is very mysterious. It's like a mirror, 1 meter in size, standing quietly in the void, emitting a faint light. The brilliance of that color has been flowing quietly, very beautiful. Dragon Soul said softly, there is indeed an invisible barrier that separates us from that 3-color light. Over the years, I have tried many times, but none of them have been successful, so I have lost confidence here. But among those 3 people back then, the 2 who escaped alive escaped from here. I don't know exactly how it got out. Maybe there is some secret here. Xiaoyan frowned and said lightly, you can't do it. It doesn't mean I can't either. I'm going to try it now. When he was talking, Xiaoyan had already used his soul power to carefully investigate this restriction, and the result was that this restriction seemed strange. Under the investigation of Xiaoyan's soul power, this restriction seems to contain 3 completely different powers, and they are compatible with each other to form this special restriction. It's actually not difficult to pass through this barrier. Although these 3 breaths are different, one of them is a fire attribute breath, so as long as you possess a different fire, it will be much easier to break through. The Golden Dragon King also said. Hearing this, Xiaoyan also knew it. After all, he discovered it when he was just investigating. Immediately, Xiaoyan adjusted the flames outside his body to a certain frequency, and then gently moved towards the restriction. At this time, Xiaoyan's whole body was exuding milky white flames, like a creature possessed by flames, and from the outside, there was no human appearance at all. Just when he came into contact with the restriction that contained 3 different powers, Xiaoyan discovered that the power in the restriction was extremely powerful, compared to the power of Wuzhong that he had only encountered, and then he carefully calmed down. Pass carefully and slowly. With Xiaoyan's body covered in milky white flames, the very powerful restriction in the eyes of Dragon Soul was easily passed by Xiaoyan. It seemed that this was really a piece of cake for Xiaoyan, and it was easy. Xiaoyan easily passed through that invisible barrier. In fact, a lot of power was wasted, but in order to shock the Dragon Soul, he smiled and said, Dragon Soul, I have already passed through. Now, it's not as difficult as you said here. Now you know that there is a gap between you and me. What you can't do, I can do, right? Take the 3-color light ban in front of you as an example. Do you understand what it means? Long Hun said solemnly, don't be complacent, it can only mean that you are lucky, or it is because you are human. Xiaoyan smiled slightly and said softly, Dragon Soul, I've already come out, you can't do it if you're not convinced. Now, just stay in there quietly, I will greet you when you have time. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, the radiance of the ancient ruler of the eternal flame flashed, and he instantly possessed himself without giving the Dragon Soul any time to speak. Behind him, and then shot out. Xiaoyan said to himself, I don't know how many days I've been here now, and Yuara and the others couldn't find out the breath of the 2 of them at all. Xiaoyan's eyes flashed after speaking, and his body instantly turned into a blue light. At the same time, the red light of the milky white flame burst out, and the intense light instantly forced countless ghosts in the cave to dodge one after another, terrified. Then Xiaoyan's gaze returned to the cave. Xiaoyan still remembered that he was sucked into the secret realm by the black beam of light outside the coffin. Now that he came out of the secret realm, he also slowly walked towards the coffin beside him. What will be in here? Xiaoyan also grinned and said, Chapter 199, The Past of the Golden Dragon King. Xiaoyan walked towards the coffin in the center of the secret room step by step. On the way, he didn't forget to wrap his body with a heavenly fire, and the terrifying energy of the milky white flame suddenly made this dark secret room, which had never seen the light of the sun, have a dazzling light. Xiaoyan came to the coffin before, and the black beam of light at the coffin suddenly disappeared without a trace. Coming a few steps in front of the coffin, Xiaoyan also found that the coffin was just like an ordinary one, but it was the most ordinary aura that made Xiaoyan very vigilant. Dragon Soul, what's in this coffin? Xiaoyan also took off the ancient ruler behind him, and said to the Dragon Soul on the ruler, how do I know what's inside? The secret realm I'm in has only 2 exits, one is the 3rd floor of the corpse forest, and the other is here. Dragon Soul was also extremely dissatisfied. Seeing this, Xiaoyan also put away the ancient ruler of eternal fire and walked over carefully. On the third floor of the Yin Corpse forest, in a rather delicate cave, a beautiful man was sitting on a stone seat, looking at the sky surprisingly. It was already night, and the moon slowly hung above the sky. The strange thing is that no one can find any openings in this rather delicate cave. How can the moonlight come in? The man is dressed in a long snow-white coat, which sets off his entire body well proportioned. If you look closely, you will find that although he is a man, his charming facial features are quite delicate, and some women are rare. Boom boom boom. The man was lying down slowly under the moonlight, when suddenly a harsh voice came, which caught the man's attention. How can it be? Someone actually entered the secret realm. The man was also surprised when he finished speaking. Then he waved at the void, and a white beam of light appeared in front of him. Inside the white beam of light was a man with a heavy ruler on his back. It was actually this human who subdued it. For thousands of years, I have been thinking about entering it, but I have never been able to get in. I can't think of it. The man also laughed, and then disappeared into a stream of light. Inside the secret room, Xiaoyan came to the coffin and looked at the coffin that was within easy reach. Xiaoyan was also hesitant. From the beginning to the end, the coffin seemed to have nothing to do with it. This was too unreasonable, so Xiaoyan also hesitated to stand up. Don't worry, I still have mine at all times. As long as you have me, you will be fine. The voice of his master, the Golden Dragon King, also sounded. Yeah. Xiaoyan also responded indifferently, as if he had taken a reassurance pill. Xiaoyan did not hesitate, stretched out his hand towards the coffin in the secret room and walked away. Just as Xiaoyan's palm touched the coffin in the secret room, an extremely cold feeling swept over him. Even though Xiaoyan had a strange fire to protect his body, he was able to resist the cold attack, and then Xiaoyan also increased the strength in his palm. The material of the coffin seems to be made of stone, so it has a rare cold feeling. Xiaoyan increased his strength and opened the coffin instantly. Boom boom boom. The moment the stone coffin was opened by Xiaoyan, countless terrifying powers also emerged from the coffin. Ah! The countless forces that emerged from the coffin instantly moved towards Xiaoyan's body, so Xiaoyan shouted no. Then a heart-piercing voice echoed in the secret room. Damn it! The Golden Dragon King also came out first, and then looked at Xiaoyan, who was holding his head tightly in his hands and shouting, and was also anxious. Xiaoyan was possessed by the mysterious power in the coffin, and then put his hands on his head. The heart-piercing echoes of his voice echoed in the secret room. The lid of the coffin had been opened, but at this time Xiaoyan was too busy to explore the coffin. There is something in it, because those mysterious forces emerged from the coffin and attacked Xiaoyan. Just when Xiaoyan opened the lid of the coffin, Xiaoyan formed dozens of layers of protection on his body with a huge strange fire, but he still said, I don't know what these mysterious powers are, but they seem to have similarities with soul power. Ho ho ho. The deafening dragon roar instantly filled the secret room. Impressively, it was sent by his master, the Golden Dragon King. As soon as the huge dragon roar came out, the mysterious power covering Xiaoyan's body was immediately shaken away a lot. Xiaoyan's body was also filled with milky white color, and then he gasped for breath, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire behind him also fell to the ground. What are these things? They are so terrifying. They were almost controlled. Xiaoyan also said weakly. Just when the mysterious power in the coffin was possessed on Xiaoyan's body, Xiaoyan just felt that the soul realm in his body was shaking involuntarily, so this caused Xiaoyan to have a splitting headache. This is the dragon. Soul also appeared at the moment when the deafening dragon roar appeared, and the blood vessels in the body trembled extremely seriously, and then unconsciously wanted to pay homage. How can it be? The dragon's soul was also recovering, and then stared viciously at an ethereal soul in midair. Absolutely not wrong? Others may not know this terrifying dragon roar, but as a member of the dragon clan, how can the dragon soul not know it? This is obviously a direct pressure from the depths of the bloodline, and it is the dragon roar exclusively for their dragon clan leader. And looking at the entire dragon clan, only 9 people can have this level of dragon roar, and there is only one person who can emit such terrifying power. Golden Dragon King? Legend has it that the dragon god gave birth to 9 sons, and the 9 sons are different, but the only thing that is clear is that among the 9 sons, only the Golden Dragon King and the Silver Dragon King are the most powerful. That is the most powerful being under the Dragon God. In the past, the dragon's soul also lived in the Dragon Clan, but was lured by humans to come here. The figure of the Golden Dragon will not be forgotten. When the dragon's soul is killed, it is the most conspicuous statue that has always been erected on the Dragon Clan Square. To the legendary Golden Dragon King, Dragon God deserves his reputation and must be the strongest at the level of fighting gods. So this Golden Dragon King in the Dragon Clan is like a symbol of the strongest under the Dragon God. And the dragons are the most united race. It's no wonder that the dragon's soul is so surprised. After all, the dragon's soul can only be regarded as a member of the Dragon Clan at most, and this Golden Dragon King is the supreme leader of the Dragon Clan. Dragon Soul has seen the Golden Dragon King. Dragon Soul said, ignoring the restrictions set by Xiaoyan, and then directly broke away from the seal of the ancient ruler, and walked on his knees to the Golden Dragon King. This is the most honorable dragon family. Haha, have you been discovered yet? The Golden Dragon King also looked at the dragon soul next to the ancient ruler below and murmured. Get up, the Golden Dragon King said slowly. Chief, you are. With Dragon Soul's eyesight, it is natural to know that the identity of the Golden Dragon King and the human boy in front of him is unusual. I lost the battle 10,000 years ago. It seemed that what his Master Dragon King said was an understatement, but Xiaoyan could clearly feel that the power in his own Master Dragon King was extremely inflated at this time. Chief, no matter what you do, our entire dragon family is proud of you. Chief, please go back. Dragon Soul also had a look of pleading in his eyes. I can't go back for now, and the kid in front of you is the one I like. The Golden Dragon King also said. When Dragon Soul heard this, the original rebelliousness and dissatisfaction all disappeared. Looking at Xiaoyan in front of him, the Dragon Soul seemed to have made a decision, and then said, I'll bet on him. After speaking, he was also returning to the ancient ruler, but at the same time, Xiaoyan discovered that the flame power in the ancient ruler was also getting stronger, and Xiaoyan could feel that this dragon from now on, and it will truly surrender to himself. Although Xiaoyan doesn't know, but this must be attributed to his Master Dragon King, and then Xiaoyan also bowed deeply to his Master Dragon King, picked up the ancient ruler of eternal fire, and then faced the already opened coffin. Don't worry, you will be reborn in the world. Chapter 200, Treasure in the Coffin? Holy Flame Soul Species. Seeing that the dragon soul is also entrenched on the ancient ruler of eternal fire, Xiaoyan also knows that from now on, this dragon soul will follow him willingly. After all, the people chosen by the Golden Dragon King will not be ordinary people. Seeing this, the Golden Dragon King also shook his head and didn't say much. There are some things that are too early to say, and he simply looked at the coffin beside him. Xiaoyan also bowed deeply to his Master Golden Dragon King. If it weren't for his Master Golden Dragon King, it would be quite difficult to make this dragon soul follow him with sincerity. After briefly sorting out his thoughts, Xiaoyan picked up the ancient ruler of Yuhuo, stretched out his head and went into the coffin to investigate carefully. Why isn't there anything in here? Did someone get on it first? Xiaoyan also carefully looked at the coffin whose lid was opened, and found that there was nothing inside. Impossible, the 3 people who took me down just wanted to open the coffin and collect the contents, and I can feel it. After so many years, no creature has come in here, and the contents of this coffin must still be there, said the dragon soul on the ancient ruler. The name of the dragon soul is Long Yi, and Xiaoyan also knew from the attitude of the dragon soul towards his Master Dragon King just now. Could it be because of the immortal sword? Xiaoyan thought about what Long Yi said. Xiaoyan could feel that what Long Yi said was not a lie. As Xiaoyan said that, he took out the broken immortal sword in the ring. As soon as the immortal sword was taken out, it looked extraordinarily white under the light of the milky white flames all over Xiaoyan's body, and then Xiaoyan also raised the immortal sword and walked towards the coffin. The immortal sword exuding milky white flames swept back and forth across the entire stone coffin, but still found nothing. How could this be? Xiaoyan also said solemnly. After all, when he first entered this cave, there were some extremely obscure auras here. After going deeper and deeper, Xiaoyan could be sure that those auras were emanating from the coffin. It came out, but now there is no response when it is opened. This. Long Yi on the side also said dully, obviously this has escaped its cognition. Use the douqi in your body, and try to burn it in this coffin with the power of heavenly fire. At this time, the Golden Dragon King also frowned, and then looked into the coffin and said, there seems to be a familiar smell in this coffin that doesn't seem to have anything. What is it? The Golden Dragon King also murmured. Hearing this, Xiaoyan also closed his eyes and rested his mind, and then the flame mantra in his body started to run at a high speed under Xiaoyan's control. Then an extremely huge flame force suddenly emerged in the secret room, illuminating the entire secret room. After doing all this, Xiaoyan controlled the huge power of flames and went into the coffin. What kind of secrets does this human kid have, so that he can actually be seen by the patriarchs of our dragon clan who have always been high-minded and low-handed? Long Yi on the ancient ruler also stared at Xiaoyan and said. Naturally, Xiaoyan didn't know these things either, so he controlled the terrifying flame power and went towards the coffin. When the huge flame energy just came into contact with the stone coffin, with Xiaoyan's emperor-level ordinary soul power, he naturally felt a sense of joy in the coffin. Then it was too late to think, the flames burned away from the inside of the coffin. Boom boom boom. The terrifying flame energy entered the coffin. It stands to reason that with the high temperature of Xiaoyan's flame that combines the power of 22 different fires, the coffin would burst open after a long time, but Xiaoyan thought of this situation. It's really weird. Increase your strength. The Golden Dragon King also shrank his pupils tightly at this time, staring at the constantly scorching space inside the coffin, as if something was about to appear inside the coffin. Hearing that, Xiaoyan also accelerated his flame mantra, and then a more powerful force suddenly spewed out into the coffin. Boom boom boom. The entire secret room was filled with terrifying temperatures at this time, but with the release of Xiaoyan's flames, the coffin that was so close at hand also changed. The coffin that was originally made of stone has slowly taken off and turned into a jade white color at this time. Bang bang bang. With 3 loud noises, the entire coffin had now turned into a transparent jade white color, and then a blue light group was slowly lying flat in the jade white coffin. The jade white coffin looked gorgeous at first glance. At this time, the blue light group was also lying flat in the coffin, and then continuously absorbed Xiaoyan's flame energy. This is Soul Seed. The Golden Dragon King's voice resounded throughout this secret room. This thing. Hearing that, Xiaoyan also noticed the change in front of him, and then his eyes were fixed on the blue ball of light. Xiaoyan's huge soul power overwhelmingly moved towards the blue light group. He wanted to investigate it, but it was instantly extinguished when he first came into contact with the blue light group. Even Xiaoyan sensed an aura of fear from the blue light group. There are 22 heavenly fires that are still afraid of, and obviously there is only one. Holy flame? Soul species. It is said that this kind of thing coexists with the holy flame, and it will only fall off when the holy flame itself is in crisis. The power of the holy flame is divided into 2 types. One is the power of the huge flame source, and the other is the soul species. The soul species inherits the beautiful qualities of the holy flame. If there is a soul species, there is only one possibility. The holy flame may be controlled or will soon fall. Holy flame is a creature born from the inheritance of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Every holy flame is pure like a newborn baby. The soul species and holy flame are 2 in 1. Only when the holy flame encounters catastrophe it will fall out of its body. This wave should be a flaming soul. The Golden Dragon King also shrank his pupils tightly, looking at the light group in the jade white coffin, and said angrily. Xiaoyan also knew that the holy flame and the soul seed are one body. When the holy flame encounters an accident, the soul seed will fall off. On the one hand, it is to preserve the power of the holy flame. If the current holy flame falls, it can be reborn again. One flower is born, and on the one hand, it is also to save holy flame. Soul species not only have some of the power of the source of the holy flame, but also have the power to restore the mind of the holy flame. If the mind is controlled by the foreign evil race or some monster, this soul species is the last lifesaver of the holy flame. Xiaoyan, don't you have any surprises? Our agreement at the beginning has not been completed. The Golden Dragon King also muttered. Take it, You take good care of this thing, it will affect your success or failure in absorbing the holy flame in the future. The Golden Dragon King also said. Hearing this, Xiaoyan also noticed that the mood of his master, the Golden Dragon King, was not stable, and then he didn't make a sound. He just stretched out his palm and grabbed the blue light ball in the jade white coffin. This thing is actually absorbing my soul power. Not good. Before Xiaoyan finished speaking, the blue soul seed light group turned into a meteor and strung into Xiaoyan.
Hi. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get updated on my latest video. Thank you for watching.